Buying a home is exciting and rewarding. However, it can also be a daunting and sometimes confusing task. That's why we have Conrad J. Klinkhammer, a real estate agent at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Premier Properties, here today to share the 3 basic factors to consider when buying a home. Conrad, welcome back. I always like it when you guys come in and kind of break it down, and it makes it not so scary. So 3 steps. What's the first thing people need to think about when we're talking about buying a home?
So yeah, with real estate, it can be very complicated. There are 3 factors. You've got price, location, and condition. Probably the first thing you want to start with is price. Your budget is going to be the most limiting factor. You want to try to determine exactly how much you can afford and how much you're comfortable with. Okay,
so what all goes into that, I guess, when you're considering? I mean, you just said you want to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've got to look at what bills you have to consider. You want to take a look at, what your income streams are, what you have coming in, and what you have going out. Now, with property, you have a little thing we've talked about in the past called hypothecation. So real estate is a great asset class. I really recommend considering expanding how much you're willing to spend on that, but you really want to take a look at your budget and what you're comfortable with.
Okay, so the next thing we should consider.
Sure. Well, real estate's all about location, location, location. So, location is the one thing about your property you can't change. The amenities that are nearby, what your neighbors are like. So when you're looking at a home, 2 homes that have similar prices, a decade later are going to maybe dramatically different prices, and that is all down to location. So you want to try to find a place that you value for your own personal use as well. And as a real estate agent, that's exactly what I'm there to help you do. Okay, and what's third on your list? Yeah, so condition would be the 3rd factor there. Condition is a little simpler. You've got character homes versus new construction, different types of homes, but it's going to be more one-dimensional. So you're talking, you're going to get what you pay for and pay for what you get as far as condition is concerned. Okay, and I want to back up then a little bit too, as I've talked to your colleagues, and setting the budget. You don't want to see something that's outside your budget, so that's why it is so crucial to set that right away, right? You don't want to look at $1 million home if that's not your budget? Yeah, well, definitely. If you can't afford it, you definitely shouldn't buy it. Nobody wants to be house poor. You definitely want to make sure that you're staying within your budget and within your restraints, for sure. And going to your second thing on the list again, when we're talking location, do you just see other options or open people's eyes as well to different locations that they might be stuck on, I want to live here, but they didn't consider other locations? Well, sure. And what there is to kind of keep in mind is how location and condition work with each other in relation to price. So you've got all 3 factors, and they kind of work with each other. So when you're taking a look, let's say you've got a location in mind and you're dead set on this one location, but the condition of the homes you're looking at in your price range, you're just not liking the homes that you're looking at. So what you've got to consider is that condition, location, and price, all 3 of these things are connected. So if you are wanting a better condition, you're either going to have to increase your budget or find a different location. And so there's a lot of locations in Fargo, and keeping kind of a big picture of all that is exactly what your real estate agent is there to help you do. I watch too much HGTV, but they often ask the question, do you want a house where, when you're talking about condition, can you, put your own stamp on it? Do you ask people that? Are you willing to do some improvements to the house yourself, or do you want it to be turnkey? Is that something you discuss? Yeah, so, that is an example of, if you're trying to cut back on budget, if you want this location for sure, and you've said to yourself, I don't want anything but this location, then yeah, you're going to have to accept a more affordable condition where you're going to do some of the work yourself. And that's definitely a part of the real estate game. And you know that game. How do people get a hold of you and work with you? Definitely. So you can find out what I'm all about on my website, conradfargo.com. Or you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/ConradFargo. Or you can call or text me, 701-388-9420. All right. Thank you so much for coming in today. Stay with us. Coming up next, tasty and affordable meal options the entire family will love.